Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Master Cup. It has been a while, hasn't it? But we are finally back. I'm Jam here with Zephyr. Absolute pleasure to have you here again, Zephyr. And the name of the game is Apex Legends, and it's so great to be back.
Trust me, I wouldn't be here if the name of the game wasn't Apex Legends. That's not true. I do love Master Cup, and they could probably sneak me into some of the other facets they've got going on. But obviously, we're competing through a standard Apex Legends tournament here today, and we've got some lovely things on the line.
Yeah, so the style of the game today is going to be trios. Last time when we were on screen on Master Cup with Apex Legends, it was all solos. 1v1, v1. However many ones that there possibly are going to be. Not going to go to the very end. It's trios this time, meaning different gameplay, definitely much more action, and I don't think you want to be looking away from it. And of course, the system that are currently playing might be very familiar if you are watching the top leagues. The Pro League, for example, which I'm pretty sure Zephyr has a lot to say about nowadays. Of course, 4 games, 2 on World's Edge, 2 on Stormpoint. The point system also might be familiar. You place high, you get a lot of points. You get a lot of kills, you also get a lot of points. At the end of all of those 4 series, we're going to be finding our winners. And our winners, as per usual, are going to be receiving the best prizes possible. Of course, those are the Cooler Master Gear. Top prize, 27-inch monitors on 165 hertz refresh rate. That's going to be your favorite monitor if you're going to win it. So 3 of those going to the top team are wonderful MM720 mice for the second place finisher. And if you want to make your setup very, very flashy, MF120 fans for your PC, RGB, fully RGB. There's so much RGB, it's crazy. So, but let's return to Apex and let's return to trios.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, this is the more standardized format, as Jar is kind of alluding to. And if you were a big fan of what we did last time around, it was a lot slower paced, and you kind of begin to bring up some of the action that we are going to begin to see here. I don't know. It always is a toss-up, depending on how the tournaments flesh out and how the teams themselves feel on the day of. But one thing is for sure, when it comes to Apex Legends, and especially competitive Apex Legends, this is the most practiced format. We might have 2 less games, only on 4 today, 2 on both of our maps, both World's Edge and Stormpoint, but it is still enough time for some of the best to prove themselves where it counts.
Well, and we have some great names. I think we've been looking at at who is playing, and already there are some favorites stepping up. But I'm always a favorite of underdogs. I always am looking for somebody who's going to upset the whole apple cart or apple basket or cabbage cart, whichever it is. My cabbages. In any case, I think you're going to be traded for some great epics right here. And also, since last time we have been live with Apex, a new season has started. Have there been any strong changes that might have affected the meta? Of course, again, we've been doing the solos back there. Now it's trios. Has anything changed significantly that we should really be putting our eye on?
That's like a huge understatement. I'm so invested already into season 16. I completely forgot that we're literally less than a month away from some of the biggest changes to ever hit Apex have come through. Classes have been revitalized. There's completely new passives for almost all 20 plus legends in the game here. A new system when it comes to how teams address compositions, recon, assault, control, skirmishers, support, all these new iterations that have found themselves. And thankfully for you, Jar, we're not sitting on the last 3 or 4 days after the patch. Things have actually started to come to, I will say, a plateau, a point where teams have definitely figured out what is the best of the best to work with, in especially trios.
I think we're going to be looking at those player compositions, rotations, where folks want to drop more throughout the game. So you folks have a little bit of a better visual. Just talking names and numbers might be interesting for some, but we're definitely going to touch on that one. Don't you worry if you're an aficionado of that kind of style. And of course, we have Zephyr over here. Zephyr is going to tell us absolutely everything there is to know about Apex. Again, that is the reason we have him here. I'm just a big mouth talking loudly about games. So, I've mentioned prizes, but prizes today are not only going to be for the players. If you are watching, there's a wonderful chance for you to win something as well. Drope.me is our sponsor for today's stream, and I think admins, by the sound of my voice, are going to put something either in the chat or on the screen. It's going to be ever your chance to win the wonderful Caliber R2 Kanagawa chair. That's a gaming chair, and
man,
let me tell you, it looks amazing. I wish I was sitting on one right now. Would make me feel so much better immediately.
What's that stream link? I'm just curious. No particular reason.
Well, just we'll let you know, folks. We'll let you know. But yeah, throughout the stream, you're going to be getting information as how to participate. And of course, use the giveaway Drope in the chat as well as just keep your eye on everything that's happening on screen. It's very important. And of course, tell us about what you love about the action, because again, there's going to be absolutely plenty of that. For the most part, I'd say we have covered everything. We are going to be preparing the matches in the background as the first lobby is just mere minutes away from getting started, and as soon as I get a confirmation that we can give you just a little bit of a breather just to process all of that information, we'll be able to hop on just there. And in the meantime, maybe Zephyr, I've touched on it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Pro League, how is it?
Oh, dude, what the heck? It's been really cool. I mean, it's literally the main goal that I was focusing on for the last 2 years or so. 5 years if we're talking about the entirety of Apex Legends. But it feels pretty awesome, and I'm glad that, I don't know, I get to share it with some of the incredible talent that are alongside me there. But as you guys can see, the first promo code down below, JB5SODNX, JB5SODNX. Make sure you stick around, because that won't be the only one throughout the entirety of today's tournament. Before we hop into it here, I'm not going to make Jar expand on this one. I'll take the reins on this, but there are some teams that I have begun to notice that have arrived today and will be competing throughout our 4 matches, and it does scare me for the rest of this lobby, right? There's some bigger names in there, maybe individual players notably, but there's a squad that I do want to highlight immediately. UTFT is going to be within today's tournament. Notably, I would say the average, we'll say, realm of play for a lot of these players is somewhere kind of around that challenger circuit level, right? And if we're talking that level of play, UTFT have shown time and time again that they always rise to the occasion, especially when we are talking about that particular circuit. Now, recently, they have gone through some player changes. The roster has switched up, and I believe we're working with Denz and Jez now instead of what was Klonic and Nazetia here from just like a month or 2 prior. So this is going to be one of the first iterations of seeing this squad in their best competitive foot forward. And obviously, as we make our way through the rest of today, there's going to be little highlights that stick out in terms of individual players that have definitely shared their history and wealth in competitive Apex.
Well, again, I'm just hoping to see more and more stuff. Maybe show Zephyr something that he hasn't seen yet, a new prospect that Zephyr's going to say, these folks are going to be in the league pretty soon. Or no, not really, no.
Oh, hey, take a look. Why not? We can actually almost immediately look at who. Whoa! Okay.
Okay, what's up?
We have a team from Pro League in here. Joining us from the Pro Leagues, Bitfix Gaming are coming through in Team 12. Zerfer Tricks and Little Max. Now, this is a team who's had it a bit rough recently in Pro League. Obviously, contesting drop spots versus Ascend on Stormpoint, and maybe not looking as good on World's Edge, but especially when you put them in the context of this particular lobby, they should be our expected performers. I was talking Challenger Circuit. We go one step above. We go from the minors to the majors when we start discussing this team. I will say there is 2 squads that I'm covering right now. I'd be curious to see who they might be, but that is that's gonna be a we'll see if teams are gonna be able to step up to the caliber.
Well. Immediately when you get placed in the lobby with such big names, I think you like sit up straighter. You get into the full gaming mode. I don't know what I'm holding. What kind of controller this is? I don't know. Wiimote, I suppose.
2 Wiimotes. You're playing on tilt controls today.
I mean, yes. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Well, and I suppose both for UTFT as well as the Bitfix Gaming, that would put a really huge targets on their back. They might be one of the best teams in the lobby, but it's a pressure to perform, and everybody else would love to knock them out. We don't have the what's that called in poker, where there basically is I suppose a bounty. They don't have a bounty on their backs, but it almost might as well be like so, because everybody else here in the Master Cup will then later be able to brag that we've knocked out Bitfix. Yeah, we knocked out UTFT.
Possibly. Just before we get into game here, I will highlight two other teams. We've got Nebula in Team 19, and a bit of a mix there. Some high priority names, nameless, notably in Team 1. In Team 3, Linkser, AJ, and Masuko. Not quite sure exactly what their name may be at this moment, but all three of those players definitely with some extended history across multitudes of teams within, we'll say, Apex Legends. But as y'all can see, just waiting to get loaded in here. The first thing that you will address, and obviously we as well, is some of those compositions that we were talking about.
Yeah, we're just eager to see who and what and where and why. There's a lot more utility knowing that we're playing trios, as we're going to be seeing compositions that are just have. I mean, we're not just going to just have one champion just doing everything. Obviously, there's going to be synergy, and just curious to see what's going to be happening. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of mobility. There's no doubts about that. Sometimes the name of the game is being able to reposition yourself as quickly as possible, get to the high ground, get to the hot zones faster as well. But I think we're starting. I think we are ready to go, and I'm pretty sure right at the beginning there's going to be some hot drops.
Oh, that's usually what occurs in our first game here. Teams aren't completely confident on their drop spots, and they end up running into one another. Right off the bat here, doesn't seem too different. While we miss out on some of the teams, notably, it's going to be Team 4 and Team 1 that go against the grain, with Mad Maggie as a pickup, Horizon. Team 15 is going to be pairing into a bit of that Wraith, not too far off. Team 20 with their own Mad Maggie, and I believe Team 10 playing out that Newcastle. Everyone else definitely highlighting the current meta that revolves around Seer, Bangalore, Catalyst, and Valkyrie. Those are our four big legends in play for Season 16 or Revelry.
All right, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing them in action as their abilities are coming on through. Seer straight up is I think we discussed this last time as well.
Yeah,
Zephyr.
He's still here.
He is still here, and he's still better and improved Bloodhound.
Yep.
Yeah, for those of you who maybe are not following Apex Legends, both Seer and Bloodhound have the ability to track the enemies throughout the walls, give them outlines, basically make the look around their own itself much better. You have much more information through that. You know when to rush in, when to maybe sit back if you're going to be a lot of enemies in your area, and just knowledge. Knowledge is power, and these kind of legends are giving you that knowledge.
Now, I will say, as we do make our way through the games today, I will definitely be taking a look at some of these individual legends and explaining what might exist as a combo. For now, just starting off, there is some contest beginning to occur here. Squads landing nearby. 4-team Nameless already off the bat. They're going to have to loot pretty quick here if they want to find themselves in good response potentially for what might be a squad that usually shares this particular POI. Climatizer, Prestis, no guns, 2 arc stars in hand. No damage found though.
He's trying to play a ninja, and you can see as his teammate drops him something. Also of note, immediate shots being placed. Nothing connects as Prestis tries he might. Cannot get anything going. In the meantime, though, a little bit of a showing off through the walls, just a gentlemanly agreement, and I'm pretty sure Ghost might be going through all. 157, another goes down, and that just drops both Adam and Big Chungus. As we're switching back between back and forth. Ghost and Pushka will be able to help Prestis. I'm pretty sure there's a revive. In the meantime, already 2 squads down. We said it's going to be pretty hot at the beginning, and it is.
Almost immediately here is the first squad eliminated at the hands of Nameless. We talked about some of the recent success for this team. That L-Star looked absolutely impeccable. It was a follow through on a double knock drop there and made short work of that roster from the interior, even though they were the ones to pull the trigger and find their way outside. For Team 14, just north here of Thermal Station, can't quite say the same. AJ and crew, Linkser, Masuko, they start this fight what I can only assume is off over by that, I believe, Mirage Etoile here, and begin to potentially chase down the remnants of Redelex here, which he's found his way quite a far distance from his teammates. He's scurrying for the hills.
Redelex is gonna be all on his lonesome. It's both Seer on his squad as well as Easy Braddock, I would imagine. Easy Brother. If this is in any way Russian, it could be something else altogether. We are jumping all over the place right now on the rails and watching as kids. Team 16 is moving around and making their presence, trying to make their presence known, or maybe just looting up as is.
Yeah, it's a decent time for them to find their way into a solid position here before things do begin to spice up. It does look like they have zone control currently within this kind of staging harvester area, so don't expect a heavy rotation from them, but there are plenty of teams on the outskirts here that are going to have to start making their way in with this round one beginning to close. For those of you who aren't maybe too particularly invested in Apex Legends, Zone on its close for the first iteration isn't too punishing, and you can tank a bit of its damage, but it is smart to get yourself into a solid position or a god spot, as you'll hear me refer to them later on.
And I do believe, unfortunately, the name completely escapes me since we are playing in this competitive mode. Not every single piece of utility is available. Is that right? I do believe a heat shield.
Yep, heat shields are not available in tournament mode, and as a result, you cannot survive longer in zones, especially the later ones where they become more apparent and more effective.
Well, then, all of these players are going to be working with those zones a little bit more carefully, and something that is available in your rank queues will not be available here. A couple of pops, that's the shield broken already, and team number 3, Marsuko, Identity, and whoever else is moving past, that's team 15, I think, is the one being pushed out. And you can see just in the open, trying to just move past every single target. Linkers was going to be pushing himself as well. Some drops from above. You cannot immediately chase them. It doesn't seem like Team 15 really wants to take the fight.
All right, immediately we're seeing this massive combo. This is something I'll explain in a moment, but between Catalyst and Seer, you have a primary setup of information and defense combined entwined. It's a double exhibit down, so both teams should know where each other are for now. For Stay Healthy, they're on top of this rock. Double Arc Star, a crack, a knock onto Flash Pitch, and a wingman shots that break armor. And from above, Flesh is found, and make it more. Linkser from the other side for the next knock, and one final member for them to clean up, finding their way to the low ground. It's a wipe for Stay Healthy, and maybe, yes, a knock on Masuko, but a reset in store.
They collect another team. We're now down to 16, and they're gonna have a juicy target themselves. Obviously, nobody knows where the kill leader is, but kill leader usually means you've gone and survived many a fight. You have a lot of resources to work with as you're collecting all of the death boxes of your opposition. And speaking of which, this is Bitfix, and they are pushing on their opposition, really trying to come in, get a couple of pot shots, and move back, and Trix gets one. Can he actually get one? Drops Kez down, but that's not exactly what he wanted. He wants to get a full kill.
For Bitfix there, obviously Max may be low, but the first knocks are starting to come through. Trix will leave it up to Zerafer and crew to finish the job on the other side. Immediately though, things are coming out from western edge of Harvester here, and they need to focus and train their attention. Quick resets are absolutely necessary. Max does stick that medkit, so full health, full reset, height in play here, and now Bitfix can focus their attacks forward here. No one's quite in a sight line yet, and they might still have time to potentially go for a full craft on this replicator.
This could be, I mean, the team of their caliber is gonna work those replicators and resources really well. Oh, Trix has spotted. Maybe getting a bit of damage. Interesting. What are they expecting to do? Just observe the opponent and just push? It seems like the whole of the Bitfix is going to be pushing in that direction, but Trix has to stop just for a little bit, allows M47 and Zerafer to push a little bit more on the opposition while Trix recovers.
A quick Phoenix kit will put them in a solid spot here, but I am expecting that this team has found their way far and out from this current fight, and actually instead, Redelex and Braddock. This is a team that we were taking a look at a little bit earlier on who were suffering. They're on the opposite leg of Harvester. They've just barely missed out on them. And just as I say that, Relics from the other side is caught by Trix. Braddock, I don't think there's any way to truly respond to a situation like this. You have to run. You have to turn around and head out. Taking to the skies. You barely can't get that, my apologies, redeploy off. And Bitfix have now picked up 2 squads here.
Bitfix, they just clutch on you and they never let go. There's no running away from Bitfix by the looks of it, and it has been really, really deadly. So, they do have the zone control. Gonna be getting himself a good opportunity. You could see purple team, Deep Purple, moving their way, so there might be more fresh Bitfix to collect. And meantime, though, everybody is moving towards that huge harvester, and we're going to be seeing teams just crossing paths and forced to fight.
Team 7 here taking their time to get some health back off, but I can't imagine this is a safe position to be in. Obviously, from behind the rock there, shots will occur, and almost immediately, SOCOM is down. The opposite side, Harvester with their own angles. It's, well, none other than Bitfix, and before the redeploy can go off, Berg is brought down. If you take damage during that Valkyrie ultimate, you are not allowed to take to the skies here. That is a huge cooldown, no longer available, and once again, Bitfix can come through and clean up. Mind you, they're not even extending the full roster. They're doing this as a duo right now. It is just Zerfer and Max who are handling business up against the wall, and now they regroup to start looking at the choke, this secondary squad.
Right, they're just there and being such a huge nuisance. Those shots, they're gonna matter in the end. Immediately the call comes out, smokes Arcstar, trying to drop him down. Oh, that's just a True Flash reconnecting with his team. Now that there you have it, the targets. Again, more vision. This is another vision play, more information. And oh my god, is it the poor Prestis goes and Plushka? It might as well be. Do they know who they're up against? You really need to be careful. There's really no protection for them. You need to find some sort of cover. Otherwise, Plushka is going to be dead before anything happens.
Now, notably, Zerfer does go down here. They do find the beam from afar. That's going to be a numbers advantage for Bitfix for now. Max going to find a response with one drop onto Prestis. Needs to even the playing field. Needs to get a shield battery off here in this 2v2. Goes and Plushka are too far away. They aren't going to be able to capitalize in time. Goes does step up here, but Max in the middle of this smoke with the Digi still find his way out. Plushka, though, from the other side, is getting knocked from a separate team. For Ghost, he is the only member now left alive. A third party has come through here from the western edge of Harvester, and now stuck between 2 teams, whether they're in full force or not, will be eliminated. Trix here quickly picked up as well. These teams in their contest have forced each other out.
Oh my goodness, it felt like it was everybody there, not just a third party, 9th party by that point. And in the end, the push from Plushka and company was great. They really were the ones that softened out Bitfix Gaming. There was just too much to contest with, and I feel like the lack of any sort of protection for them in the open is what really did them in the end. We are now down to half of our teams, even less, 9 squads remaining, and that zone is only gonna get smaller and smaller, bringing everybody in. As you can see, teams on the side and are breaking, and Alkash, oh folks, you are really far out, and as we mentioned earlier, that zone hurts.
Yeah, it's going to definitely start to take. It's still a little bit kinder right now, but especially after Zone 3 and further, that's when you can no longer really take the brunt of that punishment. Now, we do get a look at that next zone. It is going to cater even further down towards the south, where we get a bit of a split between the edges of Harvester and some of that bridge line you see coming out of Lava Siphon. Places I like to play, or where I think teams should be focusing on, is that bridge directly down towards the south side, a bit of tree, or the, say, train tunnel that pops to the west, or potentially, if it does bounce back towards Harvester, the balcony on its final leg. For Team 17 right now, they've got plenty of time to spare on the interior as they gatekeep this squad in staging.
Oh, is there a worse feeling than trying to get back into the ring and somebody is there and actively denying you the entrance? That just is horrible. Also, some familiar faces. I do believe we've seen DFS go earlier, again, 3 months ago in the solos tournament of Plushka HDD, another player, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a couple of familiar faces here and there again.
absolutely. I mean, the EMEA region is ripe with talent, and honestly, it's no surprise that we see teams re-entry. A beautiful scan picked up from Defisco, obviously on that Seer. Will find that last, remember, and take us down to 8 squads remaining. You can see 8 in that top right corner, as well as the player amount, 24. That means we have all of our full squads in the lobby currently. For now, though, we jump back over to Team 4, just a little bit further south than this roster right now in their own contest. Team 20 trying to take their time, and hey, Selly's playing. Another wonderful player.
just you, wherever you look, name after name that is familiar. Hard push. Master Banana Man and the rest of his teammates from Team 4 curry for you, and Diesel Golden. They are versus a very tough opponent by the looks of it. Again, there goes a Seer scan, so visibility straight on the targets. HP show. Oh, I'm pretty sure that's. Actually, no, this is a Seer's thing. This is not our thing. So a lot of information. On the other side, the same thing, though. Everybody knows everybody. And sure, you can just sneak up on the opposition despite all of that vision. I'm assuming that the Seer's vision has dropped, and that's what allowed Shuri to just walk in undetected.
Now down to just 2 members here. A launch to the sky will find Selly down. A 2v1 situation, and from behind the knockdown shield, double angles. They'll wipe out this squad. Now, Master Banana Man is down, and we knew there was a squad sitting up there towards that north side. As a result, for BS Golden and Curry for you, it is almost immediately that they have to try to escape, and they don't even go for the pickup on their fellow teammate. They know that they have no time between the zone close and this team's pressure, so they take to the skies with this redeploy. Big problems, though. They need to find themselves a happy home, whether it be Harvester on this edge of the cliff or somewhere else, because right now that team is immediately gunning for their position.
And it seems like Harvester is not going to be the final spot, at most one of the legs, and as such, even by that Harvester, spot is not going to be there permanently. Moves will have to be made, and now they're down a player. That's going to be tough versus anybody who might be at their full strength. Clutchy is showcasing some great air running. I did not know this was a Looney Tunes cartoon, but let's go.
Also out of the way here, Clutchy and them do have a very confident position right now, playing off of the height here from Lava Siphon. They're likely going to be in access of this next zone pretty much through its entirety here, whereas the rest of these teams, whether you're Harvester, Bridge side, or just below in Tree, we're going to be needing some high movement. Now, luckily for Team 5, no one is contesting this bridge directly to their left, and, well, just as I say that, finally, the shots come through. I was wondering where they were at. Almost immediately, Sako has to drop that Dark Veil, and while it does get them barely back to the door's edge, I think it is just in time to warrant a revive.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. I'm not sure if that's a caster's course or just a caster's, just you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen in the moment, nick of time, and unfortunately for them, enemy was right and watching. They might still get some use out of Dark Kraber, and damage is huge. That rifle, of course, if you are a good shot, it's just like your AWP and your Counter-Strikes and whatnot. Tons and tons of damage, but you're limited by ammo, and you are limited by slow firing rate.
Now that gold revive, what does that stand for? That means there's a gold knockdown in play here. Raccoon Defisco, instead of being brought up with just 10 or 12 health, is going to be revived to half of what he has available between both his shields and his flesh, and as a result, that's a more successful revive in comparison to needing to auto-heal immediately. Sadly, it doesn't give Team 5 any better of a chance of landing their shots on this Kraber, but it does give their opposer on Team 17 the ability to find their way back up towards that bridge. For now, though, Team 5, even if they're not finding damage, finding the knocks, they have a position in the next zone.
Well, what might help these teams is, of course, our prize. As a reminder, all of these teams are playing for 3 copies, is not the exact word, 3 items. And of course, the number 1 prize is Cooler Masters 27-inch 165 Hz refresh monitors, and that can help you out. Same goes for MM750 mice, but fight is happening. Kicks. Really, this is a game with guns, and yet these folks are resorting to just punching each other in the face when you're up close and personal. That works.
Now, notably for Team 17, they are going to be losing out on their teammate in that time period. Raccoon Glaber there for the time being. Thankfully, out of the most lucky instances in the world, there is a revive beacon directly next to them in a very defensible spot, so they should be able to get their teammate back in it and onto some of those death boxes to get fully kitted out before this next zone pull. They've got a minute to do so, but as of right now, there is only one squad in control of this particular zone. It is our West Lava Siphon finish. It's Clutchy, Apex for me, and Green Gavel. Above them, you can hear it in the skies. It's the drop ship reappearing. This is that revive we just discussed on the bridge. Teams should be focused. Teams should be looking for, yes, drops to be found. And it's actually not on the revive. The Fisco is knocked down from a Kraber shot. This is a huge loss. That means 2 players potentially weak there on the bridge.
This could be an opening for other teams, or just a saving grace as the position gets weakened. And of course, you mentioned that dropship. The moment a player drops anywhere near the team, you know that there's going to be more and more players. So everybody's watching down who is dropping where. And this is the sort of the nice kind of drops. And you can see the entire team. They know whether previous opponents were. They are covering every single lane. And once again, checking the bridge as well. They have a lot of knowledge to play with. Oh, and Yumper might be finding something on the bottom. Not going to be sticking for too long, because of course rockets are raining from the sky. Doesn't want to stay in hotspot for too long.
Now, obviously, with zone close here, the question for PMI is where can they find their way into zone? Right? There's a huge chunk of this pillar and this source of coverage that Clutchy and crew have been covering almost the majority of this time and still are in control of. Look at Fame over there on the other side in the tunnel. That's a huge chunk or cover that's going to be super effective in this end game. For PMI, they have no choice but to jump over the legend almost immediately as they lose out on their cover. Both members down. It's just up to the beast himself to be taken out next. Kurt for you and Golden not looking much better from their low ground position.
Oh, golden shield, a golden helmet, but for Golden, very fittingly, there's like the chances are really low. They're now on low ground. Everybody knows where they are. I feel like just everybody has their eyes on it, and unless zone moves their way, I think we have the exact confirmation where it's gonna go. At least I'm not seeing it at the top, but look at these shots. A couple of really good snipes with the wingman. The damage is high. Can Golden actually land them? You can see it's taken off piece by piece, but it's not enough.
Obviously, into a situation right now where they're trying to see if they can find maybe one source of exits out of this one, but from that source of cover, there's really no way to get on top of things here. For Team Raccoon, they're in a much better position, able to recover, able to get the revive off, able to get the Fisco back up after the Kraber knock. They're taking huge chunks of damage, and they will be the first squad to lose out on their cover here in just a moment. Now, the question is, there's 3 squads remaining. We've been looking at Clutchy's crew. We've been looking at Raccoon. The squad, who still exists, down below in this L-shaped building, just barely holding on to the last source of cover that exists on its edge. They will be forced to make their way out and climb above the cliffside in just a moment.
And just like in Star Wars, the name of the game would be the high ground. The moment you are down in the dip, we just saw what happened to Golden and his company. It's everybody could just throw their abilities and nades down there, and you just forced to tank damage. But now Raccoon team is being forced out of the cover. Again, vision is getting gained on them as well. And just with the zone right at your heels, just nipping at them, you are really in no position. What do you do in that case? Do you rush out? Do you wait out until everything gets thrown at you? Just in that situation, it feels like you're just left with nothing.
At this point right here, Clutchy and them have set themselves up perfectly for this situation. Major cracks, flesh found, a squad eliminated, Raccooner down. Surprisingly, our low squad has survived into second, but it matters not. The height they have to cover is still far too difficult to claim. A first drop found, and even Green is heading all the way down here to potentially look for some of those last remaining members. Breaking the exhibit, clear himself of being scanned for now. And on this other angle, Apex, Fame, and Clutchy, they found that last remaining rat below. And I don't even think there's a way to climb up anymore. You don't even have a choice. You are forced to dig in the dirt and seal your grave.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, the top plays win in the end, and it's always a not blows my mind. It's just so great to see so many teams in the final circle, and just seeing how much there's just not enough space, and yet somehow 4 or 5 teams are able to just stick in that tiniest of the spots, and then it starts a positional game. And do I say it right that none of our favorites for this round have actually made it into the top 3?
No, we saw both Bitfix and Nameless die, and in what was 11th and 10th place, UTFT went out incredibly early on to stay healthy, and stay healthy. They made it the furthest, I do believe so, but even they weren't up there in that top 3 in a competitive sense. But here's the thing. Here's some saving graces for all of those squads, right? We know for a fact a lot of them were super duper competitive here. And I'm even going to jump over and check to see if we have that post-match scoring, right? Super competitive. Teams know that they're able to pick up a wealth of KP. Team 12 is our Bitfix Gaming squad. While they go down in 10th, which is only 1 point for placement, they still pick up 10 kills. That is 10 individual points. For reference, placing in 2nd gets you only 9. Team 5, who comes through there, who climbs up from the low ground, they finish out with, I believe, 12 points right now. 3 kills and a 2nd place finish. Even though Bitfix went down in 10th, Jar, they still are able to assume 11 points, just too shy of a team who existed for 10 minutes longer than them, all because Bitfix was super duper aggressive, wiping squads left and right.
Yeah, it was looking as if they were just collecting so much on the field, and a team of their caliber is going to be doing just that. They're going to be working through their opposition again, collecting the resources, and I wouldn't. This is what we should be expecting from them. There will be aggression. You think you are safe, you think you have a breather, they all of a sudden make a call, drop all bits of utility on you, abilities raining down on your head, and you don't know what to do. That's exactly what happened to our poor Plushka AGD. And actually, no, sorry, Plushka AGD in the end has managed to weaken the Bitfix enough to drop them down. But then again, the third party came in, and ever since that moment, we couldn't even have a breather. The kills were coming left and right, and we were only seeing the kill feed go blam, blam, blam. There are 60 people in this lobby, and folks, you know that there's going to be some frags.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, we're on our way to getting that leaderboard settled out here, but I just want to make it clear that there's 2 ways to play, right? And we've clearly seen that defined already within our first game. And before we get into our game 2, we're going to see if we can continue to capitalize in much the same way. Here's the scary thing here, though, Jar. We're very lucky that some of our best teams in the tournament did fall early, because here's the problem. Say Bitfix walks into a similar scenario where they pick up those 10 kills, or UTFT or Nameless and the like, but they finish 2nd. Suddenly, that takes their 11-point game all the way up to even further double digits, just shy of 20 plus points there, which is an incredibly hard gap to cover when we talk about that there are only 4 games in our series today, and we've already made our way through 1.
Exactly. The time is of the essence, and there's not much of it to really be working with. So if you want to start getting those points, as a reminder, top 3 are getting the wonderful prizes provided by Cooler Master. You need to move right now, and you need to move quick. But it's already has shown us that maybe we are not going to be seeing immediately, at the very least. This is only the first game, so again, as everybody's warming up, everybody's just getting used to their opposition. I'm pretty sure that Bitfix might have expected some other plans, or just straight up their plans going their way. Not perhaps in this case, so we're going to be seeing what the game 2 is going to be bringing. I wouldn't be surprised if in the end, game 3 and 4, for example, that the more known names are going to be readjusting their strategies, maybe playing straight up for the points, and just pushing out to the top of those leaderboards.
Now, we'll see. Obviously, when it comes to the switch up to Storm Point, that's where your more experienced teams are definitely going to have their successes here, because it's definitely a harder map to play, in my personal opinion. It's bigger, there's a lot more space to cover, you have to be quicker, and those who have the experience, whether it be between Challenger Circuit and Pro League, or many more of the tournaments that exist outside of ALGS, right, it's going to be something that gives them that kind of extra edge that you talk about when they try to assume the points that they absolutely need to finish out the day and walk away with some of those lovely prizing.
So perhaps a bit more about the Storm Point as well. How about is there what we're going to see that much more different from the World's Age? Is there a lot more opportunities to be more mobile, or you have to somehow make your team composition be again focused on the mobile thing? But again, I think we've already seen that ability is the name of the game, as we've seen a lot of these flying up to the sky, Valkyries, if I'm not mistaken, and just making sure that the whole team can move around the field with really great efficiency.
It's tough to say, obviously. You know, when we get to the start of these seasons, we do see teams start to really experiment with the compositions, and even some teams drafting separate compositions for each map. As a coach myself, I know that I have my team run 2 different compositions for each of the maps, but usually teams, just to stay consistent and play what they know, will be seeing a lot of the same legends back in play here. Notably, your Catalyst Seer combo, which we haven't gotten the opportunity to explain yet, and then paired with some rotational legend right now, which happens to either be Bang or Valkyrie predominantly, or what you see with the Mad Maggie and Wraith also kind of slipping into the mix where you do see them fit here. I don't think that will particularly change on Stormpoint. You might see a little bit more of a skew towards Bang than Valkyrie, but overall, the composition should remain relatively the same.
The problem with the Catalyst and Seer combo is the moment it happens, the action happens. We are immediately jumping into somebody pushing on the opposition. And
all right, you know, let's just talk about it. Let's set it out there before it happens.
Yes.
I will explain this to the class. So, you have Seer, you have Catalyst. Callus is an obstruction-based legend or control legend. Her whole abilities revolve around securing positions, and most notably, she has an awesome ability. It's called Dark Veil. It's that big black wall you see pop up on the screen, covering a huge chunk of the space around you. Now, notably, Seer, our scan-based legend, has an ability called Exhibit. Both of these are the ultimates for these 2 respective legends. Exhibit, when you place it down, forms a giant Epcot-looking dome, and anyone inside the dome, if they are not crouching / not moving, is spotted. They are highlighted. It's that bright diamond you see on their chest. Now, notably, when Catalyst drops that wall and Seer pairs his ultimate with it, you no longer have to see your opponents to eliminate them. The cat provides the blocking vision with the wall, and the Seer ultimate lights up where everyone is, even though you are looking at a completely, black screen in front of you. Teams take advantage of this. They rush other squads. They drop the wall down so they have coverage, and the other squads are lit up like a Christmas tree for them to just, take themselves to the shooting range.
Yeah, the wall, while being black and you cannot see anything behind it, unless, of course, you are popping a Seer or Bloodhound abilities. It's passable through. The bullets go through like nobody's business. So that gives a perfect opportunity. But I think we're also seeing something different as well. Maybe not with the Catalyst combo, is the timing of your abilities. And sometimes you might just wait out Seer's vision and pop your own, and all of a sudden you are now in the driver's seat. And it also matters a lot when you pop every single one of these things.
Yeah, that's so huge. So many teams, and we haven't really gotten to see it today because things are very, we'll say, accelerated. It's happening super duper quickly. But usually when that Seer ultimate drops down, it's almost like you're dropping a stinker in the middle, all right? No one wants to be near it, right? Teams, when they see that exhibit, run for the hills, right? They take themselves just barely to the edge of where that exhibit is, because in all scenarios, you're not going to be able to defend and crouch entirely. You have to run at some point, and that gives that other team an advantage. So usually, and you'll see this most notably probably between some of our more experienced squads, when that exhibit does drop down, teams will run, try to get out of it first, wait the timer, like you said, and then either reapproach with their own abilities and ultimates, or go for a separate rotation or anything else. The worst case, though, is sitting within that dome. You do not want to be inside it.
Oh no, this is not a dome protection like Gibraltar might drop on you. No, it is opposite and pretty bad indeed. Folks, we are going to be going on a short break. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to be returning with the second map of the day, and it's going to be a doozy. Before we go, though, folks, if you haven't put it just yet, quickly, below the screen, there is going to be a code that you can put into Drope Me, information, exclamation point giveaway in the chat to get the link. Then you have ability to use that promo code JB5SODNX gives you a chance for more tickets in the giveaway. What's the prize, you might ask? Caliber R2 gaming chair Kanagawa, and looks it absolutely beautiful. You might check out the pictures over. I'm not pretty sure. Is there a picture of the actual thing? There should be a picture of the actual thing on Drope. If there isn't, Cooler Master's website is your friend. So, sorry, it has already disappeared. You need to be quick. We're going to be showing more of these throughout the broadcast as well for more chances. If I'm not mistaken, 3 in total. So I hope you used all 3. How do you know how to use them? We're going to mention it, but the best case for you is to watch. For now, though, you're going to get a 2-3 minute breather. But when we come back, map number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Master Cup with Apex Georgia. I'm here with Zephyr, and I think before we even start anything, just a quick address of the code that has been appearing. Maybe we can put it on the screen one more time. Apparently, we've been saying that it's an O. It's a 0. I might have said an O. I'll take a full responsibility of that. 0. So JB5S0DNX. What to do with it? You go to drope.me. The link is in the chat. If you put an exclamation point giveaway, and your chance to win Caliber R2 gaming chair. I wish I was sitting on one. Instead, I'm sitting on whatever I have. But maybe chances are, maybe I can win this one. So while I'm registering myself over there, Zephyr, take it away.
Personally, I wish I could have the chair as well. I totally am not keeping track of the Drope in the second monitor over here as we make our way through today. I'm kidding. I will say, though, hopefully the teams maybe get the opportunity to take their own time to stop by the stream and maybe get their own chance to look at this, because it's maybe not just about the prizing. It also might be something to take a look at. But we take a look at our teams here.
Is that correct? Is that correct?
I believe we might have a bit of a mistake on just the first name. I think everything else is correct here. But UTFT is twice on our leaderboard. We got him in 14th and in first, right? And I don't think we've got double UTFTs in our lobby currently.
I believe it's Raccoon then, Raccoon Esports.
Yes, Raccoon. It should be Raccoon who come out on top, or someone at least in that final moments were coming through. But either way, names correct or not, our lobby is looking particularly tight. Hexus and what I can only assume as Raccoon are 1 point away, and both of which in very solid starts. A double point or a 20+ point start for two teams in a lobby is massive.
That is wild. Again, Hex's #1 placement in the previous game with 11 kills, but it's through the fact that Raccoon, even finishing third, there we go, have accrued 17 frags. Folks, we have 60 players in the lobby. That's almost a third of the lobby that fell down to the guns and the powers of Raccoon Esports. That is quite an output.
Yeah, fantastic start for them there, and one that is addressed, like you said, with major fragging potential. As we make our way down the leaderboard, yes, we see Hexus and Horadation, who were both in that endgame, but notably, like I said, Bitfix Gaming, who come out of nowhere here with their explosive start in that Harvester area that we got to take a look at. They put themselves all the way up in a tied position for third, even though they were not in that endgame.
Yeah, their finishing position was a 10th, just smack dab in the middle of the standings. But you could see whenever they got their whole crew together, whenever the call came to push, nobody could stand in their way. In the end, I think they'll just succumb to the same thing that Terror Killers succumbed to: too many teams around, too much, not enough space and protection to work with, and the opponent's push was just that much better. But watch out right here as we are swapping the map to Storm Point. There might be getting even more kills and even more action. So Bitfix Gaming, or BFG as you've seen it on the screen, Raccoon and Hexus, as well as UTFT and I believe Nameless, are still the teams to watch out for.
I might be, if I am correct, I believe we are still within World's Edge. We've got 2 on World's Edge, then 2 on Storm Point. So still one last game to round this off, but that's still important. While it may not be the new map just yet, we still have to address that teams need to understand that this is the controlled map, right? This is where you are maybe a bit more practiced, a little bit more secure in what you know, and it's your last opportunity to put up points on it.
Alrighty, we're already seeing a lot of early drops as many of the teams, Raccoon, are leaders as well, going immediately through Thermal Station and trying to take control of it. And I'm almost surprised that we have 60 players, and yet everybody seemingly to working themselves out a niche of their own and a point of interest of their own. But pretty sure we're going to be seeing some quick fights as somebody is bound to land in the same spot.
It looks like we have, most notably, a team sharing staging, and it looks like that's just about it. Usually Siphon and Climatizer are split up, so there's no, and Skyhook as well, so there's no oddity to that kind of drop, but staging a lava fissure. Those are the two POIs that are a bit too small. A town too small for the two of them.
Oh man, and it's gonna get only smaller as the rings are gonna be closing in more and more. We're already having some quick kills. Linkster collects both Baba Yaga and Flash Pitch, and those two are out. Well, you either start strong or you're forced to wait for the next lobby, and that's exactly what we just seen. Unfortunate for the team that first dropped.
FNB here will be picked up in their last moments. Masuko coming through there to finish off Hazard to take us down already at 18 for Genix over here on this high ground. We're trying to see exactly where this staging team, who was contesting the opposite side of this POI, has positioned themselves, but I don't think they care. They've already made their way across into the Geyser Village and are now setting up for a scan in just a moment further.
Information gained from that scan, just for everyone to figure out where the next ring is gonna be. Makes your rotation that much more efficient, and gives you the opportunity to maybe set up a trap on the opposition. Gaining control of the circle in the center of it is just as important as maybe picking up a couple of stragglers and being on the outside. Maybe is ever actually a question for you then, since you're not only a captain but also a coach. In your playstyle, I hope that's not a big of a secret, do you prefer your team to be aggressive and pushy, or do you prefer them to be coming into the ring second?
Ooh. I'm always of the belief that your dominant positions need to be contested if you have the opportunity. You want to get to good endgame zone spots right from the get-go, because it guarantees that you as a team will see yourself at least into a position within that top 8 where that placement really starts to explode here. Now, for Genex, they have found their way into a building that should last until its endgame, but they haven't done a good job of defending it. Neska, already on this opposite angle, have found major damage on both Big Chungus and Adam Autumn. And while they are going to be able to heal up, I worry for their resources. They've already blown through so much of their cells and syringes, I can't imagine there's much left.
Yeah, this could be a problem. Not getting anything out of it might royally mess you over. But there's always can come a call that is just not worth it, and you leave on through while the opposition is hiding in the corner. You can see, ooh, a chance for Redlex. Makes a push. We're again with Redlex. Easy Braddock at the very beginning. Couple of shots. Cannot immediately touch. There's his teammate, but President candidate Naseka will have to retreat back, and this is opportunity for Genetics now to push, but they're also themselves slow, and Big Chunk is outside, tries to push, drop on the top. There's already one down. That's Redlex. Easy Braddock is down as well, but Easy Braddock has broken. Big Chunk is down again, dropped, not killed just yet, and Naseka is eliminated. Genetics just with a drop of Big Chungus, who will be revived pretty sharpish. Take that up. Anybody around? I do not see anybody in the immediate vicinity unless stay healthy. I think I've just jinxed them.
Coming through here to follow up on this third party, already dropping down the exhibit. I'll say it's a little bit of a short toss there. That team already had taken towards the staging side, so that ultimate is wasted. But for Adam Autumn here, we'll see if he can maybe potentially root back or find his way out towards Thermal, or just, well, the keyword survive for the time being. For stay healthy, though, notably in what was their start, they lose out in the fight over towards Lava Fissure, and now are going to begin to make their way back, maybe to potentially recover that banner. Why? Because they just saw the team that they were contesting, Bitfix Gaming, leave the POI.
Well, it's much better to come in after Bitfix Gaming rather than go at the same time. Oh, I see Big Chungus is being approached, and I don't think there's going to be much of interest for him to stay. Right now, Trick, so we saw how well that player can land all of these shots. Yes, and now they know where they are as well. You could see those triangles are showing absolutely everything Twix needs to know, and they keep on throwing stuff back at them. Yes, you're behind that rock. We know. You cannot reposition. Can you actually take a drop? I think it was away 12 damage at most. I saw 8 pop up without a shield, but Twix cannot finish this, and there might be still a chance for that other roster's Nebula, that's Nebula Esports, and my God, Tide's in not a good spot.
Now, Tide's here just barely allowed to survive, and he's thankful because Bitfix Gaming have no choice to back up. They've got themselves a high ground position that they need to defend right now, and they don't want to completely waste it. So, They're going to send Tricks out to finish the job. A revive has come through, but with those off angles, they are in the perfect position to wipe out Nebula here. For Tricks, though, he's got to find some way back to the rest of his team on this height outside of Geyser. A smoke might give him his first impact. Panic carrying forward. I want to highlight this. Tricks, knowing that they have to get at least the Valk back into play here, on the opposite angle, they drop a smoke from Max to allow Tricks to get back up there, blocking the sight lines of Raccoon, even though they have height. It's a perfect utilization of the tactical there.
Again, Bitfix Gaming, well, that's understatement. They know what they are doing, and so our point leaders, Raccoon, are forced to take the rules of the game that Bitfix is giving them. Right now, as you can see, they have fallen back, and well, they might be looking out still in the direction where they last seen BFG. They're not going to be actively taking any all actions. Tricks has reunited with the rest of the team, and there we have it, taking it to the sky once again as BFG is repositioned.
Now carrying themselves back over to Lava Fisher where they started here. We'll have to see exactly why they'll be looking to address this position, but I think Zone is clearly identifying that. We get a nice cut towards this northern region, and Bitfix have already opted to say, last time around, we wasted a little bit too much time out of zone. This time, we want to make sure that we have a dominant position and are going to be making it to that end game because they know they can pick up the KP. It's just doing it later in the game rather than early.
Segenex are trying to find somebody again. Here's your combo Seer and Catalyst. Ooh, drop down. PMI. I blinked and I almost missed. Oh, PMI dropped. XD 69 XD are also out in just a moment of time. We might be seeing that team again because there's 2 more matches, but most importantly, that's 2 out. They haven't finished high in the previous game. PMI finished, I do believe, goodness gracious, 8th in total, but now out somewhat early. We'll be looking forward to the next game. BFG still strong, and yeah, we might see some changes in their strategies.
Now for BFG, they're obviously on this opposite end of Countdown, taking their time on how they approach this zone, and they might be actually pulling back towards at least the Skyhook exit for now. It's definitely a more defensible spot. These buildings are easier to hold in comparison to the wider space that you have to defend when you try to play for Countdown Direct. And notably, they didn't have Countdown Direct. There was already a team. Linkser's squad had taken control of that main building before they had even gotten there.
Right, now play slows down just a little bit. At the very least, we are at the POV of Bitfix Gaming. Such more things might be happening elsewhere. But it felt like after a very explosive start, or at least for a moment, everybody was everywhere. See Apex Fame, dropping eyeing Sokum. That's locked in. That's currently on our screens. Golden, you might remember, locked in as they were trying to survive at the very end, but they were stuck in the horriblest place in the pit of despair, as everybody was dropping absolutely everything they had on top of their heads. Let's just ride just a little bit longer. For a moment, that's Raccoon, and I believe locked in. We're looking at Raccoon's spot on the train car, so a little bit of spot here and there. Surprisingly enough, still unlooted containers. Still something for Curry for you to find. I'd really just collect a couple of bits of ammo and shields here.
Now from behind here, Raccoon, wall pinched, thankful for this other squad leaving towards Landslide. Their attention now focused well and back towards this cart just behind them. You can see Catalyst in play is starting to pressure back in the Landslide squad, has heard the shots. They're almost immediately ready to reapproach, and with that first not coming through, Horridation know they have the numbers advantage and drop that combo down. Immediately a Nemesis in play with an Arcstar. Raccoon have found their way out, but they need to continue running if they want to survive.
It's just gonna be a escape situation. They cannot even pick up the banner of their fallen teammate, and it's not gonna work out. Yeah, we're seeing as just again the kill fit is pretty fast. So 11 squads remaining as again teams take their chances, and sometimes teams just say we're not going to be taking any chances. We'd rather go and recover and regroup before we do anything. And for Raccoon, it's going to be pretty tough to get anything going. I do believe, yeah, last round it was DFS Co who was revived eventually, and that Crater Down did not really kill their chances. Again, they finished first by standings, sorry, third by standings of those 17 kills. So it really got them to the top. So they still hold a chance, but so far they are weakened.
A redeploy coming through here to the Lava Fissure area, and thankfully these buildings are very much in play. Most teams are expecting this to cater a little bit further up towards that countdown area. As of right now, Hordation will lock this one down with that Catalyst. Just to make quick note of it, Catalyst able to defend these positions with both her passive, which barricades and reinforces doors, giving them more health, and that little bit of the ferrofluid goop you see on the ground, those piercing spikes that provide a damaging boundary for teams that try to walk up or step on.
What cannot Catalyst do? It seems like there is so much coming from the Legend, and it has been a relatively recent addition. How many seasons back ago was Catalyst implemented?
It's one of the most recent Legends. I mean, we are talking about the most recent Legend to be released and brought into the Apex games here. So definitely a new addition and buffed in slight here. I know we talked about scanning beacons and scanning ring and these things. They changed it. It used to be Recon Legends could scan that next ring. Instead, it is now Control Legends. Rampart, Caustic, Watson, and Catalyst are the 4 Legends that can read where the next zone goes.
And surprise, surprise, I just asked what Catalyst cannot do, and apparently there's even more abilities.
There's more.
There's a powerful Catalyst, so it's no surprise that we are seeing Catalyst, Seer, and of course Valve combo. Information and mobility. Information and mobility, and the rest is just player skill.
Yeah, the rest is just effective play, because at the end of the day, should be more than fine. Now, Hordation does face a knock. It does look like Moggs does find at least something with that charge rifle, but a charge rifle spells out that you are some distance away, unable to truly, well, make the crossing distance to wipe out that squad.
Also, just for a moment, there we go, back at Supreme. Nemesis, a new gun introduced in Season 16, an energy burst rifle, but which can be transformed into a full auto if you just keep on holding the mouse button. If you just never let go, it keeps on shooting, and faster and faster. In your opinion, in this little time that the Season 16 has been out, is this a weapon of, like, is this an S tier weapon, A tier weapon? Where would it sit in your loot rating?
Nemesis? It is the best assault rifle currently in the game, by and far. It has a disgusting distance level of control, extended range, little recoil, and the quote-unquote downside of a charge-up time on its burst rate is negligible when you are in the middle of fighting, right? Now, it does have the punishing effect of being an energy-based weapon, which means you reel through your ammo a little bit quicker, and it's the rarer ammo type. But all in all, teams are starting to carry it more often, so you can find it from death boxes if you're lucky, and throughout most of the game, you still pick up what counts.
Right now, potshots being taken by teams. You see that charge rifle in effect, and the side of I'm Travis Scott, seemingly to be landing those shots pretty well. Hordation plays positionally. They are still in the zone and still in the ring, even as the next one is going to be coming out. So you don't even have to move. At some point, is it too much to be so static, just hold up position while everybody else... I suppose while everybody else fights, teams are going to go down, people are going to use their resources, but at the same time, it allows everybody else to loot up. Is at some point just you don't have to loot up, you assume that you have everything going and you can just camp?
As of right now, just waiting, and that's okay for now. Height like this, though, will be dropped down, and the Valve takes to the skies here. Genji drops down from that height unnecessarily, potentially maybe caught by the out-of-bounds timer, and UTFT very quickly lose out on what could have been a safe third. There was no reason for Genji to go down there.
Sometimes Christmas comes early, sometimes Christmas just rains from the sky, and that's exactly what they got by fighting Genji, just dropping on down. You could see Bitfix and I think somebody else working a number of Sajanics, so they are maybe getting just riddled by bullets from multiple rosters. To have Masuko is getting those headshots straight up. We are down to the last 10, and of course you know what that means. The zones are getting smaller, the action is getting heated up, and Texas currently second in the standings, at least while we haven't updated them post-match. are trying to take some shots at the teams that they're seeing. Their positioning, this is the team that has, of course, has collected that happy drop from the skies. Valk has just jumped into their open arms. They still know that UTFT is right there at the top somewhere. Most likely they have not moved, and surprise can still rain on them down for them at any point.
UTFT have pulled back at least for now, back towards the edges of Trials. And this is something that I feel is much more appropriate, especially because you lose out on your rotational legend. Genji is no longer available. Now, even if they can't go through that choke, it does look like they're going to be able to shear themselves up against this wall and survive for just a moment longer. Gotta be careful. Make sure no one's coming from back. And I love these sidelines, though. Just perfect for them. A double scan, and it doesn't matter that the black hole comes through. Locked in are potentially locked out here.
Well, UTFT is trying to rush, but there, the zone catches up with them. Another wall from the Valken shot through or coming on. You can see its visibility is right there. No shield on the last player. But Apex Fame drops Dennis. Dennis should be revived. Actually, is trying to do anything in their power just to do something. But now the wall is playing against them. They never know what is going to come on next. And that little sliver of spot allows Apex Fame and the rest of that roster to eliminate UTFT from contention. Locked in, still alive.
Locked in are allowed to survive after UTFT go down, stay healthy, picked up as a result. In the meanwhile, wall they come through from their building for Locked in, taking to high here. They'll see if they can cover the last remnants of that team potentially on the interior. Notably, I'm questioning, do they know the squad behind them? They did just ping it out, so they clearly have an identity of that team that just finished off UTFT, but I can't imagine it gets any easier. None of these buildings are in play. We are completely moving to the other side of this wall.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, it's just going to be open. It's going to be absolutely open. I'm pretty sure there's no way to get on the top of those rocks. Nope. The one that we were going to be seeing in the center. So it's all going to be on the ground. And right now, Locked in are trying to deny their opposition. Curry's pretty close. You can see Vision is, again, the name of the game. Nobody, they know that the enemy is there, but giving just a little bit of information. Maybe your opposition is going to rush you, but look at that. Banana Man tries to peek, gets 30, and then gets punished back. And the exchanges are very equivalent. Nobody really gains any ground health-wise or shield-wise. But right here, you can see the Locked in. They want to move straight into the zone, but how dangerous this is. Golden, already no shield. Banana Man down. This is just death. And who is that? That's Bitfix, still alive. It's Travis. Travis got eliminated. 5 squads remaining, and that rotation could have gone better for Locked in.
For Locked in, they lose out on Banana Man, and that is your scan. That is your informational support. For Horde Nation, though, they don't get to go full send just yet. They have to wipe this team that still exists within the Lava Fissure area. And instead, they're taking knocks, they're taking drops. Bitfix Gaming from below, finding a full wipe on them before they themselves have to just barely catch forward. Locked in, hearing the shots, though, they know they can clean this one up, and just as they arrive, almost immediately does Bitfix find another squad elimination. Now Hexus arriving. They should be absolutely more than secure in picking this up. It's just Tricks. It's just one man stuck for the hills, stuck to the clutches, and potentially now just one more as well. A singular raid right in the middle of the pack. Hexus, your champions of Game 2.
Hexus, fantastically played, and once again we've seen all of these big names in the final 3, but in the end it was just too much. BMG once again collecting a lot of these kills, and this might work well for them. They need those points. They really need those points, as they're currently out of top 3, and top 3 gets the prizes from the Cooler Master, so they should be in a good position. But my god, there's just everybody was cut down in those final 60 seconds. Action has been dropping them down left and right, and at the end, that poor old solitary Wraith said that, yeah, there's no chances, there's no need to prolong this agony. I'm just gonna jump straight where Hexus is and get on down. You can see Raccoon. Yeah, there we have it.
Wow.
1 kill. Now that really surprises me to get to the...
Whoa. Remember, Raccoon was the squad that was in landslide, choked in that cart, and they had to go for the portal really late. Yeah. Down to the low ground. I have no idea how this team was allowed to survive that long here, but obviously you made mention of it. Hexus, Bitfix Gaming, those are the names to truly pay attention to. Between the both of them, they wipe out 27 individuals in our lobby. That's over half. That is over half the amount that exists relative to yourself. So 2 of our teams absolutely dominating here. I will say the sad thing though is that when in comparison, Hexus wasn't quite as, or no, my apologies, Bitfix wasn't quite as close to a lead as Hexus last times around here. So this should be their moment to form a gap.
Right, yeah, for Hexus got both the points, so 12 points for the first spot, plus 14 points for the kill, so 26 in total, while a third spot for BFG only nets them 7 points, plus, of course, with their extra kills, that's 20, so they're still not catching up to Hexus. Raccoon, I do believe, will be moved down. Yes, Hexus just put in so many points that it's not even funny. Hexus are now absolutely our undisputed leaders of the standings, but there's still a mix-up that can be happening in the top. Hoardation, who were previously third, netted a respectable 5th spot. Again, no kills though, just like with Raccoon, only 1 kill to their name. And I guess this partly also answers my question asked earlier, Zephyr. What's better, aggression or positional, like more positional coming in later? And kills matter in the end. Kills might be the difference between first or the top 3 or however many points you are playing for. So it is something. All right, I do believe we're gonna immediately get a look at the leaderboard as well, so why not bring that to the screen and take a look at our leaders. And Hexus, well, that is quite a healthy lead, wouldn't you say, Zephyr?
15 points above Raccoon Esports. They handedly take it away after that game there, and now are in a confident position to potentially wrap up games 3 and 4 here of Stormpoint. Now, Raccoon and Bitfix are not out of it. With 2 games left standing, they can definitely pick up the effective wins that they absolutely need here to make it count. But it's going to be close. If Hexus continues to perform in any truly minor way, they should be walking out with the first place finish.
Right, and once again, not immediately the team that maybe sprung to our minds, but they are absolutely making a killing out of it. And once again, the kills might be the name of the game here. Third map, and this time we are switching it to Stormpoint. Might really either give us a very guaranteed top 3. And even right now, as you can see, there is an outline as we are seeing 49 points, 34 points, and 32 points. That is already the next team locked in is 12 points away, and that is a different. That is, they need to win in the first place, then collect something. It is incredibly tough for them to jump back in, but that's why we have 4 maps to play, 4 rounds. And if you might have not performed well in one, you sure will be able to jump back in just a little bit.
Yeah, locked in Hoardation, stay healthy. They better approach these next 2 maps with absolute precision if they want to even come close to a first place finish, or even maybe stay competitive towards that top 3, because I don't know, between Raccoon, Bitfix, and Hexus, it doesn't seem like they have let up within our first 2 games.
Oh no, there's just no breaks, no holds barred. Alrighty, folks. We have mentioned giveaways. We're gonna mention them again. We are not just here to watch great gameplay, although pretty sure many of you are. There is a chance. There is the code, this time without a 0 or a no, so I cannot make a mistake twice. TTAW7UBQ. What do you do with this code? Exclamation point giveaway in the chat gives you a link to drope.me. Your chance to win the Caliber R2 gaming chair from Cooler Master, and let me tell you, it is a good one. And that promo code is just give you a chance to get more tickets into this. What else gives you a chance to get tickets? Well, check it out. You can invite your friends to watch the stream. You can follow Master Cup on Twitter, like stuff, follow this channel on Twitter, join our Discord server, invite your friend, and of course, enter that promo code. So come on, rush in, drope.me, and the full-on link is in the chat for your information. You want to be quick there, because those folks are going to be right hot on your tail. Everybody has a chance to win. We're going to be mentioning that code later on as well, but right now this is your chance, because in just a moment, can I time it right? Just if I clap my hands, 3, 2, 1, puff. Okay, well, I mean, I'm sorry, production. Oh, fair enough, fair enough. I was maybe as I asked them
a
to
second
just make
off. A second off. It's all good.
Yes. I'm just going to be doing more magical tricks as we're moving into this one. Of course, we are preparing the next game as well. We already had a little break, so we're going to be moving into the next one in just momentarily. So, any surprises, perhaps, Zephyr, that you have seen so far in terms of what teams are bringing into terms of composition? Maybe their selection of drop points, or even some interesting skill and ability usage that perhaps you haven't seen before.
It's tough to say. It definitely seems like teams have gotten to a point where they really understand how to play this out. I mean, the wall comes down, drop that exhibit, shoot those diamonds the best you can, and we've gotten perfect opportunities to see it in display many a times in our last games. I will say, things that I am surprised about is, while Bitfix have been performing respectably, when I look toward teams like Hexus and Raccoon, it is maybe a bit more of a surprise. These are not squads that even I particularly know of, teams with players that I have yet to see in at least a fully fleshed out fashion, especially coming out of our last Challenger circuit. So I don't know, gets me excited. It is literally 4 days away from the first Challenger circuit iteration for these players, and this is going to be their chance to potentially put themselves up towards that ALGS championship, making their way through Split 2.
I just formulated a very tough question, and it's knowing that we are on EU broadcast, and folks, there's going to be a North American and APAC tournament for Apex as well, all happening tomorrow. There's still a chance to register. Get more information over on our Discord, on our Twitter at MasterCupXP. You still have a chance. If you're from those regions, you also get a chance to win the prizes and giveaways as well. So keep an eye out for that. Perhaps our admins can also drop us a little bit of a link in the chat. But Zephyr, my question is very simple, and that is, which is the best region in Apex?
Oh. In what way? And in terms
I see African swallow
level, or in terms I have
I see.
I don't know if I should answer that question anymore.
No, it's okay. I put a huge trap for that. So I want
people to know that I do have a list in my head where I value them in a certain order. I want everyone to know that. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I know what they are.
Okay, maybe a reasonably, also a equally hard question, but at very least you don't have to show any bias or try to appease the European crowd that's currently watching this. I'm pretty sure there's tons of Apex fans in the chat of many ranks. As a Apex coach, what is the maybe one thing you would recommend folks to focus on to climb the ranks and improve their game?
Ooh. That's interesting. It definitely depends. So I'm not just a coach. I'm also a voiceover artist for Pro Guides, a channel that assists in learning for Apex Legends and stuff, right? So I definitely spend a lot of time deciphering and figuring out what are the best strategies to do better in Apex. And it does start to depend, but let's assume we're talking at the upper highest echelon of Apex, between your Diamond, Masters, and Predator. How do you get there? Well, between having just the simple time to grind it out, it's really capitalizing on the ranked system, and I think not a lot of people truly understand that. There's much more heavy precedent towards picking up those kills than there currently is towards placement, and these lobbies fall fast. So we need to amp the speed of you as a player no matter how you approach the game, because in most scenarios, if you are an effective 3v3 skirmisher, if you're picking up your kills, you will inevitably get to that top 7 or 5 where that placement does get multiplied, right? And at that point, if you don't have the kills to represent yourself, you're not going to be picking up the RP necessary to climb that rank status. So get aggressive, get confident, become a good 3v3 skirmisher, and fully send it every chance you get. I'm not saying be crazy and be stupid, but be confident.
Well, we are already dropping in straight from the in Fortnite it's a bus. What is it in Apex? A dropship? I suppose it's a dropship.
Dropship, baby. The dropship is making its way through Stormpoint for the very first time today, and it might bring some of that action you've been waiting for. But granted, I think World's Edge has been quite high tempo.
There's no doubt about that. Again, on the previous round, we've seen pretty much almost no contention. Only at the very end, we have seen teams sharing the same points of interest, and that's where the initial fights have happened. Right now, though, We're seeing a lot of teams going in the direction of a ship fall, although some of you will be dropping just a little bit early. We're starting with 18 squads, as two of the teams unfortunately had to forfeit for rest. So it's going to be perhaps a little bit easier for some of these teams to survive. But it's not about survival. It's you not only need to get to those final 10, final 5. You also need to be absolutely on point when you approach these. And UTFT right now is trying to pick up. That's a Curry, which would mean this would be, again, Hexus, if I'm not mistaken.
This is absurd. If we look at this map right now,
Locked in.
over 10 of our squads are contesting. That is over half of our lobby currently in an early game fight between Lightning Rod, Wall, North Pad, Barometer, and Shipfall here. And already right off the bat, I mean, we tune into Hexus, who isn't contesting. I feel thankful for them. This is a squad who will not have to worry about damage or any potential right now.
Right, they're just going to be giving their sweet time, find as much loot as possible, gear themselves up. Already Clutch is sitting on a golden armor, which is going to be a pretty good pickup for the rest of the game. Of course, Hexus are current point leaders with a very comfortable, if I can find my mouse, 15-point lead. Their nearest opponents in Raccoon Sports. I would love to pick up just a bit more. As speak of the devil, it is Raccoon, and this is something that you usually don't see in these Battle Royale games, and that is a little bit of a PvE action.
Yeah. Coming through here, we have both the Prowler's Nest and the Spiders, and you may be wondering, why are they dropping this? Well, if you're not a fan of Apex, it does give you a little bit of loot to maybe get yourself a bit more prepped. And on top of that, you've got Evo Shields. These shields do grow in power the more damage you do, and these Spiders and Prowlers are the perfect enemies or foes to get yourself potentially charged up. You can see there, Defisco taking all the time in the world to get his purple up. He's currently at 5, I believe, 88. And only, well, 588 damage away from red.
Yeah, and obviously the safest way to farm that damage on yourself. Your enemy is not going to be lenient, is not going to be nice, firing everything that they have at you, but a couple of spiders bites here and there. And as FRF said, it's going to set you up for a good position later on. We have lost 2 squads already, unfortunately. Well, perhaps not. We might see it later who they were, and all of a sudden we're going to say, what, these people? No way. Not just moving around. Apparently that contention of the drop points hadn't really resulted in a lot of action, but as you can see, Locked In are trying to suss out whoever it is against them at their spot.
Now for Locked In on the interior here, they will be inevitably pushed in upon, but an exhibit pushes UTFT back. This is what I was talking about when we discussed waiting things out and playing around the exhibit. This is how teams tend to usually address this ultimate with the experience that is had. Now, an Horizon ultimate will be a bit neutered in this current patch. It's not as effective, and now with a response of their own exhibit, UTFT prevents this team from moving up, but it's a bit late. Curry for you takes center ground position, and for UTFT down to Flesh on 2, while they might find a chunk of damage that counts, inevitably they will be eliminated.
Oh no, well, we hyped up UTFT a lot early, but for now, unfortunately dropping incredibly early, and after the second round they were already in the bottom 10. Once again, finishing in the bottom 10 as well, 16th for them. So we're going to be watching as Locked In are going to be trying to get their points. Their position currently 4th, but there is a 29-point gap between them and the first spot, and a 12-point gap. Ooh, how about this? How about this? Oh, whoever is versus that will be so Inside and the rest of the lobby. That's out. Genetics are out.
So now when I start looking at this leaderboard, I start thinking of this as more of a race, right? Between some of our highest performing teams, Hexus, Raccoon, and Bitfix Gaming. If Hexus and Raccoon aren't picking up the same level or amount of kills as, say, Bitfix, in these last 2 games, it might be the perfect time for them to sweep away with a potential lead. For Stay Healthy, well, they're looking to do the same, catch up to that top 3 position, already wiping one on the interior here and making another crack. The PK absolutely chunking a quick wipe onto PMI, and I'll tell you what, Linkser makes it look easy.
There has been a couple of times already. Linkser is one of them. Tricks constantly surprising me just how easily they can absolutely swipe their opposition off the earth. And here is the Nameless squad, name that maybe we have mentioned in the first game quite a lot, as we have been on the POV of Prestis, Agoge, and Plushka quite a lot. Right now, they're just carving their own little space in the area and trying to get some of them. They are on the outskirts of the map right now, but they have collected themselves an enemy, or at the very least found themselves a couple of loot boxes as they're moving through the battlefields of past.
It does look like Gale Station seems to be the place to be in this current zone. Obviously, it might cater itself directly towards this POI, or potentially down even further towards that southeast where we talk about Fish Farms. For Raccoon, hasn't been much action for them, and that scares me, Jar. They need to be accumulating the same level of action, the same level of points, or they might get overtaken. Right now, just clearing out the IMC Armory, though, it will put them in the best position to take on teams here in just a moment further. These robots, or foes, give access to a high source of customized loot.
Right. Well, as you mentioned it's by the point you mentioned it's a race. So by this point, Hexes, Raccoon, BFG, as well as to an extent Locked In, Horridation, and Stay Healthy, know that it's a race to get as many kills as possible. And if you're going to be slow, and in the previous game, it was an incredibly slow game, both for Raccoon and Horridation, 1 kill each. They cannot be slacking down this time, but you cannot always find an opponent, and you cannot always go Kong-Ho, as Nebula perhaps finds just that. There are 12 team eliminated in this round number 3.
Eliminated at the hands of Nameless here. We tune in with Bitfix Gaming. Last we checked, they were contesting outside of one of our nut buildings, but instead now taking it to Antenna. Tricks on that red Evo, but Max and Serapher a bit lower, playing without the purples themselves, and that's huge! Hexus are out in 11th, eliminated by Nameless here.
My goodness, that is a big change, and with Hexes down, immediately Raccoon Esports BFG prick up their ears, and they know that. The kill feed is there, right? So they already have a lot of information to go off that they can, well, they still need to work hard for it. Just the fact that Hexes is out doesn't guarantee them anything, and knowing just how many great teams are left in this lobby still, oh, it's going to be a toughie. As you can see, Max and the rest of Bitfix are actually getting a couple of shots, but for most part, it's just scouting it out, and not taking any unnecessary pot shots, because after all, your position then gets revealed, or you just start dropping your ammo unnecessarily.
Yeah, just a second ago, we saw Bitfix in a dire straight situation trying to survive in this contest against said squad. Now, already starting to move that one back in just a little bit for the time being. Not playing with the stereotypical comp, though. Working with the Bloodhound of all picks here. Still a scan-based legend, but definitely very direct. You only have a second or two to really see exactly where squads are. And for Zerfer, while he knows they're on that secondary height, it's a team from Antenna that prevents Bitfix from really stepping up and laying damage down.
Right now, oh, there you have it. Max collects Virginator, and there is... They are just at the shooting gallery. They are surrounding their opposition, and I don't think there's any chance. BFG goes in. We're going to be staying outside. We're going to be watching the kill feed, and after about a minute and a half, nobody will be home. It's just going to be clean up duty, clean up crew. Still, somehow they survive, and running away was efficient. Whoever BFG is currently chasing.
It looks like for BFG, that third party from Antenna comes in from the actual POI, and they go, wait a second, we don't want to be jumped on. We want to clean this one up. So the minute that fight now comes to its end, well, Bitfix are right there to pick up the KP in their own right. 62 reasons to remember the name already down at the hands here. A quick wraparound from Max will find extra damage on to Kize to finish off 2 of the members within this third party, potentially looking for that last one, but I can't imagine they are anywhere close to this fight. Instead, no, they actually are here. They're on the roof.
Oh, 69. Oh, they're down. They're out. And with the last shot by Zerfer, Bitfix Gaming collecting yet another kill to their name, and by the very end, it's going to be incredibly important. Trix needs a bit of a fix-up. Well, I suppose the whole team needs it, but thankfully it's only the shields, and there's going to be plenty to find in the loot crates that their oppositions have dropped.
Now for Locked In coming through Jurassic Park, this can be incredibly dangerous. One of the most open spaces on all of Stormpoint. They would barely find their way into the building across here, and Raccoon, though, sits just across from them. And Raccoon, well, they've been a bit slow on approaching this game, especially when we compare them to Bitfix. They need to start their assault. They need to start picking up that KP, but instead, it's a redeploy.
Moving on around Raccoon, and just a moment ago we seen how much of a big target this redeploy makes you. Obviously, right now Raccoon needs to move back into the ring, but you are almost a sitting duck in the sky the moment any opposition spots you. Speak of the devil, locked in. No shots by Golden land, but they themselves now need to move, need to think about their positioning. All the while, it's again a collection. Raccoon are trying to pick somebody off. And their spot, I would say, pretty well placed, although they're coming from the lower ground to the higher. Still, their positioning should be quite well. They still need to mind that there's a team that might be behind them.
Now for Raccoon, obviously, they do put themselves, though, in a good position to play for that end game, which is something that still matters, because going down right now, right, in 8th place would be horrendous for them. That's nowhere close to the placement that they currently need to stay competitive within the top sources. So let the other teams fight. You might miss out on some of that KP, but you guarantee putting yourself in a place where you at least pick up that 7 or 9 or 12 points. That should keep you confidently within a top first place position. Now, Celion Flux, this crew from Shiryu and Kailash, they wipe out a squad on our peninsula here. Raccoon, though, walking up, might begin their first fight of the game.
Right in the smokes and need to find those kills. And the kills of the game might find themselves. As you already see a lot of damage. Hide and seek, one of the rare traits in this game is, again, that is not a legend that we've seen that much. Whoa, shots from the distance. And who is it? No doubts. I almost had no doubts who that would be. Bitfix Gaming. Actually, I'm going, I think, for the third team as well. So, yeah, for yet another team to just take a shot at. They announced their presence. We just say, we are here. And yes, there's a chase that's coming on down. And a Raccoon is in trouble. Actually, there might be two. Yeah, the Glaber drops down, bleeds out from Max. Yeah. And it is going to be a tough one once again. It seems to be a history for Raccoon of getting dropped and having to come back from very, very tough situations.
Yeah, it's tough here for Raccoon now down on the low ground. They're still not even quite in that zone yet. This one catering still even further out towards that kind of Gale Station shipfall cutoff. Bitfix is in no better position there, as they themselves are still looking particularly low, and most likely will have to redeploy. Trix taking up ashore on this wall. They're getting cover. Get ready for it. There's that redeploy ultimate. They have to. No space to find their way forward, and the question remains, though, with 7 squads remaining, where will they present themselves? What spot will they contest? Most spaces should be open.
It almost feels like it's incredibly dangerous. Zerfer has the shield, but has almost no HP. Not sure if they're low on medkits or they prefer to go, as we see in the character, finally healing. I'm surprised that they have opted for repositioning before the healing up. Is there a good point to do that?
I feel like at a certain point, you've just got to go for full health whenever you can, right? I mean, put yourself in the best spot and then look for these redeploys. And for Raccoon, it's actually something that I think will net them late game positioning if they can get behind really good cover here. Sight lines are going to be incredibly close from shipfall, but they might just barely have a wall to work with.
That is,
I don't know.
That is not it. They went away from everybody, but now they have to go back. Nah. There's just no getting back from there. Felt like they just put their own watery grave right there and on the beach, and that's gonna be it. But we're looking at Bitfix Gaming, and who is it? Their best sharpshooter, Trix, but he is all alone. Surfer and Max both are down, and chances of getting a revive by this point, a dropship, are, I think, approaching 0.
Now, I'll tell you what, for Tricks, this is a terrible spot, but when you put it in context of Raccoon, neither squad is looking good at all. It's a race to see who potentially drops first. Asir now pushing the rock to the high ground. Obviously trying to take this space up here. It's Nameless who finally is able to re-eclipse this spot and find Tricks in his last moments here. For Nameless, their best game as of yet. They have been on fire throughout it all here. Goes and Plushka as a duo, able to get that banner back, and it looks like, yes, they do have a mobile respawn beacon, something that you can find as a optional loot for utility, and it's going to be able to get potentially this third member back into play here.
Yeah, well, I've mentioned that the chances of resurrecting anybody is nearing 0, but something like that could be a game changer. A team that doesn't have a mobile respawn point or doesn't have an access to a respawn for that period just will be at a disadvantage, a player disadvantage. So right now, Nameless in a really good spot. I say that Ghost has to heal up to max, but they already have 7 kills, and they are already in top 5, so the placement points are also starting to matter. A lot to climb for the Nameless squad, as they are currently 8th in the standings with only 9 points, but this game is going to change a lot of them. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a lot in the end. Preston's respawn has timed out, which means I believe that I cannot use the mobile station anymore.
Yeah, at this point, the banner no longer available, and sadly, no support legend in play. If you had a support legend, you might be able to craft that banner and ignore the timer. For them, as a duo, they'll just have to suck it up and compete here. I'll tell you what, Jar, I'm shocked that Raccoon is still alive, by the way.
They somehow they survived. Maybe that's their namesake. Just whatever they find trash, whether they're versus anything else. Right now, Nameless shredding. Oh my God, shredding. You can see that their opposition is just tail between their legs and running, and that opposition is forwardation. Nothing to sneeze at. A tough opponent, but they're dropping pretty low. Shots. Citadel cannot get those shots on those. That Peacekeeper not really working out in her favor, but look at that. No health, not much to work with. There's a wall, a little bit of a curtain dropping down, and everybody sitting on the opposite sides of it. And that's just 2 teams. 3 more are somewhere nearby. And pretty much hearing this, looking at it, push. I think that's Ghost. Ghost goes down, cannot beat Sakura. Sakura's like a second one down. No, Horridation out.
Just barely there. Horridation in a 2v1 situation almost pulls off the clutch factor, the moment that counts here for Nameless. 4 squads remaining, 9 KP to just Plushka's name. This is a huge lead, and finally, Raccoon will be picked off in 4th. I don't think they picked up much KP, if not any at all, so I think they might be walking out of this game with just 5 points here. For the likes of Nameless, Stay Healthy, and 1 more squad we haven't quite looked at. It's Shightly. Should be one of their best games.
Boy. Well, it's a trio. It's one of these trios that doesn't have a name, so just go by the first initials of their nicknames. Selly, Shiryu, and Taylor.
I like that. That's smart.
It works. Cute. It works. And also it makes us say Shitale. I'm trying to walk around that name very carefully.
I'm American. I don't care. No, I'm kidding. I will say, they themselves currently in a decent position, though, within zone. Whether you like their name or not, one of the few to be able to potentially walk up towards this river line. Stay Healthy. Kind of stuck in the middle. While they do have Dome, they're going to lose it on this next zone pull, and they're going to be caught right between both Nameless and our friends.
And our friends. Funnily enough, these are the 3 teams left in this lobby that are not in top 3 of the game. And funnily enough, they are close to one another. Stay Healthy, 15 points. Shy and Company, 9 points. Nameless also tied at 9 points. So it's going to mean a lot for either of these rosters to get that first place. Again, 12 points for them moving on high up. It is the roster of Nameless that is currently quite high on the kill points as well, but here comes a push. And dead. Nameless just out. Well, there was a drop on somebody. Stay healthy? I don't think Jinxie will stay healthy for too long.
No, not at all. Obviously, here from the other angle, it's just a 3v1 situation left in store. We call this the cleanup crew coming through in the end. to pick up our win in Game 3 here. It's a massive one at that. Something absolutely necessary for either one of these squads to walk into a confident Game 4.
Wowzers. Well, that finale again with a surprise that Raccoon Esports managed to survive for that long. They just hid. I do believe there's a term of a cockroach just surviving anything, nuclear war, anything that they throw at them. Raccoon managed to stay up high, but there is a chance that they just won't have a chance to not many kills to their name, and as such, their standings are gonna drop down even lower. Good news for them, Hexus was out incredibly early, and there you have it. Just like you said, wow. Zephyr, 0 kills for Raccoon, and while the 4th spot does net them just a little bit, 5 points, it's going to be tough to play versus them. Where's that Nameless? Nameless just did what Raccoon did in the first game, 17 kills.
Raccoon with 5, like you said, 17 for Nameless. That is a guaranteed 24 points after our 3rd match here. A huge resurgence. We will wrap up Bitfix as well with 6 and 8 kills respectively. I believe that right there is 3 plus 8, so 11 points for them. It's something that will keep them competitive, but I don't think it eclipses that top 1st place position. I would have to make the assumption that if we're talking about our leaderboard still, that I think Raccoon is just barely still in the lead. Just barely, though.
We're going to let you know if we have a leaderboard ready. In the meantime, let's show that promo code, the 2nd promo code. We are still trying to figure out if you can use it again. But if you haven't used a single promo code, put in exclamation giveaway in the chat and use the code TTAW7UBQ. Gives you a chance for 5 tickets into the giveaway, and there are other chances to get the tickets as well, just by watching the stream, by following the channel, by following our Twitter at MasterCupXP, liking the post, inviting a friend. There's so many potential ways. Joining the Discord as well as one of them. Just do not forget to create an account on Drope and then link your Discords, Twitches, Twitters. That's how we get those tickets. And the prize, of course, is Cooler Master's very own Caliber R2 gaming chair in the beautiful, I want to say Sakura Kanagawa is the name of the model, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So if you want to sit on the best chair possible to improve your gaming by about, I don't know, plus 50 LP, I would say, it's going to be the chair that you want to get.
Well, I'll tell you what, we do have our leaderboard ready, so let's take a look and see where our teams have fallen after our last game here. Now, obviously, it was a huge game for Nameless, but they still aren't in the top 3.
Look at that. Look at that. 50 for Hexus, BFG and Raccoon Esports. There has been a change. Raccoon dropped down just slightly, but this is a previously difference of 2 points in favor of Raccoon, now difference of 4 points in terms of BFG. But I do believe, looking at this, we have definitely Hexus and the BFG absolutely in the running. Raccoon is there. I would put Nameless in there as well in the contention for the top 3, even for the 1st spot, knowing that they just dropped a 17 bomb. Shy and Company, and then if you talk about Shy and Company, then it's Stay Healthy, and God, Horridation isn't that far off.
Our top eight is definitely still, it might not be for 1st, but it is definitely well within the range of competitive pricing for our top 8. I will say though, Hexus, Bitfix Gaming, and Raccoon, if they continue to survive and thrive in our final and 4th game, that bar is raised. What becomes 39 as the entry point, or 40 to eclipse them, is suddenly 41, 42, 43, 44. And when that begins to tick and add up, it becomes a problem for so many of these other squads. Locked in, technically only need, I believe right now, 14 points. But the minute Raccoon and Bitfix and everyone starts to amp up, that 14 becomes 15, 16, 17. And in Apex Legends, that's a huge difference.
Well, it is the final map, and everything gets decided here. Well, and cannot wait. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait a short break as we are setting up the 4th and final lobby of the day. Master Cup, EMA, Apex Legends right here. It's getting back in just a moment. Grab yourself a drink, get a refreshment, grab popcorn, because the final round is sure to be a doozy. Oh, and also the promo code at the very bottom, TTAW7UBQ. Production just throwing it at me. Say that, say that, say that. Already did a magical clap to bring it out, or bring it away. So now, one more time, you can use that promo code at Drope Me, and the link to that giveaway is in the chat. You can win a Cooler Master Caliber R2 Kanagawa gaming chair. This code gives you a chance for 5 tickets, and you have plenty more opportunities to use that. We're going to show it one more time, and then of course there's going to be a third one for those of you who have potentially missed it. Thank you very much for pointing at it. I mean, I need as much help as I can get just pointing down there. Promo code. I see people in chat have already gotten it. Alrighty. Break. When we come back, fourth and final round as we're going to crown our champion for today. Welcome, and welcome back some more. This is Master Cup XP, powered by Cooler Master. We're also pretty much powered here by Cooler Master. I'm Jarja here with Zephyr. We had already 3 exciting rounds of Apex, and now for the 4th and the final one. And Zephyr, it's anybody's game. It is still anybody's game.
Between our top 8, it is still a very contestable, at least top 3 prizing available for any one of our teams. Granted, top first is definitely something that seems to have already taken its lead and run with it between Hexus, Raccoon, and Bitfix Gaming. But even the likes of Nameless, who come out of Game 3 with a dominant win, still might have the chance to potentially pull away and take that if they can replicate that similar success in our 4th and final game.
Well, let's take a look exactly at that at the leaderboard, and as our standings are, top 8 is where our attention is, and Hexes are currently in the lead of the pack with 50 points, but Bitfix Gaming, or BFG, as we might be referring to them throughout this whole tournament, is hot on their heels, Raccoon Esports, and down the line, Nameless, who have dropped 17 kills in the previous round, really propelling themselves in that top 4, and Shine Company, Stay Healthy, and Horridation, as well as Locked In, are the teams that really want to get as best game as possible, preferably top 3 with as many kills as possible, while also hoping, or maybe putting their hands to, eliminating the top 3. The faster Hexes, BFG, and Raccoon drop, the less there's chance for them to pick up a lot of kills.
Obviously, we've brought it up before, but it's a race, right? It is your last possible opportunity to potentially pick up this KP, and when you start seeing that kill feed light up like a Christmas tree, you know the timer is ticking. While placement counts, it has clearly been shown today that there is a different, I will say, level among some of our teams, and they're willing to take advantage of that. They're willing to full send and capitalize on so many of these other rosters where they see fit.
All right, well, folks, it is also time for this one, exactly this. Down on your screens, the promo code that gives you 5 tickets among everything else that you might have earned already by watching the stream and everything. Just like Zephyr is doing, type in exclamation giveaway in the chat to get a link to the Drope Me giveaway, with a chance to win the Cooler Master Caliber R2 gaming chair, of course, in the beautiful Kaganawa colors, YDLJA1ICF. Your chance to get just a little bit more, and yeah, don't forget, you need to be quick. You need to be incredibly quick. If you have not used it, somebody else might use this. We have, as far as I know, 5 usages of that code before it's done. Donzo out. Capuche, that's not even a word anymore. Zilch, nada, whatever. I think we can start clapping. We're going to be showing that later on as well, but for now we can 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much, production. Mike, you are great. You're absolutely amazing. Well, let's start gearing up for that final round. Again, a reminder, right here on the Master Cup, we are playing for Cooler Master prizes, and the first place, the whole team is gonna get 27-inch wide QHD 165 Hz refresh rate IPS addressable RGB monitors for everybody. If you finish second, you get the wonderful professional MM720 mouse from Cooler Master, and of course, finishing in third gets you some cool gear. You can deck your PC out, or anything else actually that's either there, I'm pretty sure, with the RGB fans as well. MF120 prismatic. They look like a kaleidoscope of colors. I'm pretty sure if you don't even get it, just go visit the Cooler Master shop and grab yourself something. We are already flying on up. I'm pretty sure everybody has mostly landed. Let's get this 4th round on the way.
Now already, right off the bat, once again here, 5 contests. And we're trying to see exactly who might be in a contest that really matters. Now, Nameless has separated. They're going to be alone at Fish Farms, but between Stay Healthy, UTFT up there, it looks like we do have our friends from Shy up on Lightning Rod. We do have some notable names that do need to find their success, but between Bitfix, Raccoon, and those more apparent names like Hexus, they seem to be in comfortable positions where they are not going to be fighting anyone just yet. Albeit they are aggressive, it's not quite that first 3 minutes aggressive.
Yes, and it is a juggling game between landing in a good POI that nets you loot but also trying to avoid the enemies when you see where everybody else is dropping. Although after you've dropped, your destiny is completely in your own hands, and everybody else dropping after you might decide to follow. You might say, yep, we are gonna drop exactly where they are. We're gonna get that first fight. And slowly but surely the side of Hexes is trying to figure out where to go. They are already safely in the ring. There's no need to move anywhere around. They are just collecting as much loot as possible. And the spaces are wide and high. Well, look at that. There's a couple of sidelines. Janix is trying to land some shots on DFS.
Yeah, you gotta be careful there. If Raccoon face their difficulties this early on, that could be something that might actually make them lose out on one of their top 3 positions. It was just last game that we talked to them only walking away with 5 points. They come in with a late rotation, are caught by Bitfix Gaming, stuck in the water, and then really have nothing to reap of a reward. As a result, they sit in 3rd, even though they had been in the lead.
Yeah, slowly moving on down. Still a chance. Out of every single team, they are the 3rd best boys, again, based just on their positioning, to take this whole tournament altogether, be the kings of trios right here in the Master Cup. But there's a lot of work, and again, survival cannot be everything. Hexes might have gone out early in the previous game, but look at that, they're still sitting out incredibly high. So for now, Road to Win has been eliminated. We're slowly dropping teams here and there, and those are going to be the teams that everybody everybody across the top 8 would like to pick up for themselves. So how much, I think there's going to be a lot of aggression in this quarterfinal.
If you're a team that's behind, it definitely will be your time to shine, right? To push the limit of your points here. Now for ITTS, or ITS, they've found their way out of the down beast mouth and are not going to be caught directly by Horridation just yet here, and instead are actually taking their time to loot up the western side of that POI, but you have to worry for them. Horridation are definitely an aggressive squad, and they're looking to see if they can capitalize, find those angles to potentially pick up that extra KP that we know they need.
Moving on, again, it is the looting phase. It's usually hot drop. A couple of teams get eliminated incredibly quickly as they cross their paths at the very beginning, low on guns, low on shields. But now it is just careful looting, and it seems like it's Travis Scott have found him on somebody that is quite an early pop on the Sears Vision, and it seems like Bly isn't going to be sticking there for too long.
Now for Horridation, continue up back towards this high ground to give themselves access on better sight lines, more coverage, more angles, and it's hopefully something that gives Supremi the, well, option to rotate back there, and I think he does successfully pull away. It's not, though, at the cost, though, of Cicerodani there, also taking their own lumps. For ITS, even though they were the first to walk away from the down beast, they've been obsessively successful, but wait a second. That's a 3rd squad. ITS is in the interior of this building. They haven't really taken shots, if any, at all. Instead, a 3rd team coming through here from the millage area have been peppering with their own damage.
Oh man, well, that's not the position you want to be in, and yeah, you can see that there's a higher vantage point for whoever ITS are currently playing against, and they just want to rotate as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, the name is just a little bit too tiny. Dubbed as the worst one on that team, but by the looks of it, it's Travis Scott. Just try to get Scott free out of whatever.
Travis Scott. I like
Travis
that.
Scott.
Coming through here, obviously towards the end, they'll look for this redeploy, and it's going to be something that I think will be much better than being stuck in between those 2 squads there from seconds ago. While they will be able to carry themselves forward, I do worry about this other squad maybe gatekeeping on the other side of Mill.
Oh, this is a perfect opportunity for some of these teams to just stay their ground, but also not let anybody into the good avenues. And depending on how carefully, perhaps aggressively, the opposition team plays, it's either a kill for you or a bit of a worry that you've got on your own heads. A beach run right there. I don't think that's going to protect whoever Proof is currently putting their shots on. And I'm seeing Swaffen and Max exchanging shots. BFG is in trouble. Apis boys are down. But they must have gotten just a little bit down. And who is on the beach? Oh my god, it's poor Travis Scott boys.
It's here, will be low. Like I said, it's got to be careful with some of those gatekeeping squads, and Getsu's got to stick this Phoenix kit and is able to do so. It's a soft reset. Sage and X, though, rushing in now with that exhibit in play. It's are very lucky. They just barely miss out on being caught by that ultimate, and as a result, they're going to look to reapproach, play the Prowler sight lines, and continue carrying themselves to this nut ahead. And for Sage and X, it's just barely too far to truly find the knocks that count.
Yeah, no knocks, but a bit more damage, and they have information where their opposition has gone. Just need to be careful. They keep on moving, and the more they're moving, the more there's a chance of just stumbling on yet another team. XD69 is out, and quite swiftly. Feels like we're already down to almost our final 10. I do not believe any big names, any of the top 8 have dropped. So this is going to be setting up the final top 8 or final top 10 to be a very hotly contested one.
Now, obviously here, it is a drop onto its right now, but we talk about the distance they were able to create, but looking at the two, I don't think they'll ever be able to really maybe work their way back in. They're definitely looking, but Sage and X are looking just as well. Down to the low ground, potentially into the spider caves, where we saw one of our third members running for the hills. Zengetsu is completely fully thirsted at this current point, and you can tell they know there's little KP on the board. They've got to keep hunting this.
Yes, they need to be pushing on a bit more. They already know one of them is down. I thought that would get just a little bit of an overview. And you can see some of the bigger names. There's BFG, there's Raccoon, and BFG might be coming into Raccoon.
Right into them.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And this is, again, since the map is bigger, as you can see, some mobility options are in play. So a bit of repositioning for it. Zangetsu might be down, but at the very least,
it should be good.
Mouse God? This is always a tough one. The worst one.
Check out that area.
Either way, they find their way back down toward that southern choke, and that'll probably dissuade any further push onto them, but they will be represented as a duo for the rest of this game, which is never a place you want to be. Now, we talked about Bitfix Gaming and Raccoon. Raccoon in the house is just west of here in what we call Millage. For them, they're incredibly lucky. They don't run into them just yet, and instead, their focus is more towards back on this barometer area, maybe focusing on gatekeeping some of these squads who have come in with a bit late of rotations.
Yeah, they need to be, again, just like any other team right now, they need to be finding kills. If they're going to be fighting themselves versus the top squads, the Hexes, then they need to be coming into those finally, which to work with. Plus, maybe, well, definitely not down the player. That's incredibly tough. You might be thinking twice, although they themselves now have a lot of open. Whoever just hid behind that pickup truck, that pickup truck is a very small upsell. But behind that, somebody is pushing on tricks, and there is already a lot of damage going on. BFG, well, taking a lot of attention. Raccoon might have shot them in the back.
A bit pinched there. We talked about this setup early on, and Raccoon comes through, and they effectively play it out to find, like you said, that damage. Now, thankfully, it's not the death of Bitfix that you see instead. It is Nebula, but it is still a huge loss of Zeraphir. Him kind of shoring up too close to that squad does inevitably come through. Now, it does seem like we do see the redeploy from Raccoon carrying themselves deep in a way towards Cenote Cave, but I can't imagine landing this late will spell well. You've got a team just ahead of them doing the exact same here. Raccoon, they've got to find a dumpster to hide in, I'll tell you what, because there are two squads in between them.
Well, it's tough. Just a little bit of resources found, luckily, but you could see the moment that redeploy comes in, again, extra vision. They see where the other teams are, those little triangles that you see on the screen, and you look left, oh, there's the team. You look right, oh, there's another team. You don't want to go into the caves, and you just keep on rotating around. All the while, everybody sees that you're doing this, and, well, we didn't see any shots taken at the Valkyrie positioning. You know, it might yet happen. All right. Less than 10 squads remaining. We're currently with Stay Healthy, who would love to leapfrog a lot of their opposition, but there's a lot of their opposition in the way.
Padlock to bandit.
Now, obviously, Stay Healthy just finishing off that squad, utilizing their utility, both the Exhibit and Dark Veil down. They guarantee themselves a position in this next zone, but they got to be careful. In terms of aggressive combos, they don't have their main piece available, at least for the next minute and a half. For them right now, pulling back in a way they should have coverage in play. This zone catering towards the mill is something that I would say is a bit lucky for them. right? Mill's quite a wide area, and they should be able to find themselves a happy home.
Hexes, they have quite a high position to work with. So they also see like half of the map, basically what's behind them, what's in front of them, but also seems like they might be a little bit vulnerable. Their mobility seems a bit stifled, having to basically get stuck in between the rocks. So, I mean, they still have a lot of informational play right there, and so they might get a couple of slaps as a result of it, but at the very least they will know exactly where to move, where's everybody's moving, and once again, knowing whether you're walking into a trap of 3 teams or if you're moving into a spot that is safe. It's sometimes the difference between life and death. Speaking of death, Horridation out.
Hexes here will take the time to capitalize on this height while they still can, though, right? They are going to lose out on it in this next zone rotation, but they should be able to find damage, pepper squads, and, you know, source out some of those resources, kind of chokehold on these teams before they're actually forced to fight them in the next minute and 10. I will say, though, haven't really decided exactly where they're going to go, where they're going to line themselves up for their next push forward. For Nameless, we saw them in their contest against Bitfix Gaming, but they never quite actually finished off that squad, instead letting them go. Don't quite know if Bitfix got the revive up, but they definitely have been chasing someone here if you're Nameless. A break onto the Valkyrie.
Trying to get it. It was looking so great at the very beginning, but they couldn't get it going. And right now, I do believe it is the side of goodness gracious, Hexes would have been. Yes, this would be Hexes. Ibex Fame and Clutchy have collected one of the players of Raccoon. I do believe Raccoon are down to the last player by this point, and yeah, that's not looking good for the stripy team in front.
Hexes taking to the sky. We'll see where they can land. Obviously, we talk about space available. 8 squads remaining in a Zone 4, though, is still definitely a spacious ending. For Stay Healthy, though, tracking this utmost and perfectly. It doesn't look like Hexes hit height. They usually need to hit that countered height there, and it's been a minute and 30, so Stay Healthy have their combos available. Immediately focusing towards the diamonds that exist on their screen. They want to take this out, but just barely. Hexes found their way to the low ground, but this is a choke. They've got Zone on their backside. They have no choice to tank or die.
They're pushing. That's their only option. But right now, Stay Healthy is on the top. I do believe we just seen the blink. Actually, that was a different team altogether that got out, because we're still seeing as one last player is being dropped down. Reinvolved. It's eliminated. We're pretty sure we saw somebody else. And is this the end of Hexes? Can we get a look at the Hexes? Clutchy. Yeah. Still alive, still surviving. Okay. I'm sorry.
Maybe we shouldn't have taken a look at Hexes there. Coming through on the opposite side of the rock. No way to survive. Stay Healthy, though. The good thing is, even though they don't wipe it out in full, they pick up 2 of those kills, and it looks like they find a rat from behind to capitalize on here, and knowing that they have the clear numbers advantage, are going to continue tracking this one out as that zone tightens up. It has officially closed in full here, so nothing quite yet, but a ghost pill is opened out of nowhere, and it's none other than Bitfix.
Bitfix in a great position. Raccoon out. So
it's Raccoon!
Raccoon out, so top 3 is now down to only BFG. And they might take this whole thing out of the control of everybody who's still in the shots. That goes in the Bazooka, so that's Stay Healthy and Nameless fighting one another. That's benefiting BFG, but Trix is down. Oh, this could be a grand exchange, and up until the very last moment, we wouldn't know who won.
Right here, Bitfix are surprisingly allowed to continue surviving, even recovering the banner of Trix. Stay Healthy eliminated as a result here. Nameless finishing off that squad and actually saving the day here for Bitfix Gaming. And you know they love this. That kill feed is continuing to light up here. As a single member, there's no way they survive any longer, so they want Nameless to finish this fight. Even if they pick up the KP, it is a huge chunk of placement. 9 points for Bitfix to potentially work with to keep themselves confidently in that top 3 to knock out Hexus, to knock out Raccoon.
Max surviving might be the thing that has clinched BFG the victory, but we obviously need a confirmation. And right now, Max is looking at the kill feed and saying, thank God, whoever it is in that kill feed, thank God it's not us. Master Bananaman, the last player, not gonna survive. So that is, that's locked in out. It's between Nameless and BFG. And there you have it, that's Max. Nameless is the champion, but I think that's just not enough points. Kills are gonna come incredibly clutch at this last moment, and we're gonna have to wait for the confirmation.
It'll be tough. Obviously, we talk about what points you need to usurp some of these positions here, and I believe it was 17 for Nameless off of their last win, or I believe 17 or 18 to break into, I believe, top 3 or top first place. Problem. Teams like Bitfix are accruing a huge chunk of points to their name as they make their way through that game between both Yes, KP, as well as placement here. We take a look at that match summary. Maybe this will dissuade some of the worries. Raccoon, top 5, 4-on-4 there with the KP as well as placement. That's 9 points. Bitfix Gaming with 13 themselves with a 9-point placement finish and the 4 KP. Nameless show up huge. 12 points for the win, 11 for the KP. That alone is a 23-point game, something that guaranteedly puts them well within our top 3, but still leaves the major question, where exactly do they remain?
Exactly, because while BFG stayed second in that match, and while 4 kills is not that much, they got the placement points, incredibly important. Raccoon and Hexus dropped out earlier, but look at that. They don't have that many kill points. Locked in and Stay Healthy have collected a lot of kills. Oh, I mean, we can't do the math in our heads, but caster math, never reliable. We'd rather rely on our wonderful team right here at Master XP. There's so many folks playing and working behind the scenes to bring in this broadcast. We would love to make a shout out to absolutely everybody as we wait for that, but the anticipation needs to be still on our toes. So as we're waiting, why not just maybe show that code once again? Where, folks, do you have a chance to use the promotion code for the giveaway that we're hosting right here on the Master Cup XP channel, and of course is for the gaming chair R2 Caliber from Cooler Master. Type in exclamation point Drope or exclamation point giveaway or exclamation point promo, whatever you want in the chat. Get that link, enter this code down below, YDLJA1CF. I might have missed an I over there, but in any case, it gives you a chance to grab 5 more tickets for the giveaway. The more tickets you have, the more chances you get to win said gaming chair. And there's going to be maybe one last time that we're going to be showing it later on. And the winner is going to be announced later. And if you win, you're going to be contacted. That. So don't you worry. We're going to have you covered. But once again, before we, again, make any sort of reveals, Cooler Master prizes on the line for any and all teams. And there aren't that many that are still in the top 3 shot, but they still can win a wonderful set of 3 27-inch monitors, 165 Hz refresh rate from Cooler Master. That's the #1 prize. Our gaming mice, that's most probably make you shoot much straighter than whatever other mice they might be using. That's MM's 720 and then glossy black, a very fancy glossy black. And of course, for the first place, the teams will be able to get the wonderful MF 120 prismatic coolers. They look fantastic on absolutely anything. Slap them on your PC, slap on them on anything else. Oh my goodness. We just received information that we have a tie for first. You're kidding. Nope.
We don't know. We don't know yet. We do break ties. We do have rulings for breaking ties here, and it comes down to the effective win, and I believe placements that come through afterwards here. So I'm not announcing it yet. I'm not going to announce it until that leaderboard shows up.
No. All we know that there is, we're not going to even name the names, so that it stays a surprise for everybody. But let me know that despite us playing 4 full rounds of Apex, somehow at the very end, 2 teams decided to get the same amount of point status. Whew. How often does that happen in your experience?
Fairly often. Surprisingly more than you ever have thought. You would think even with the explosive numbers that you see, ties are just not a thing, but instead it really does occur all through and out. Well, Leaderboard is officially ready. We've discussed and hinted at our tie, but we have done the math. We've looked at the previous games. Let's take a look and see exactly who came out on top.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner for Apex Legends Trios Master Cup XP Tournament is BitFix Gaming. Nameless are our silver medal recipients and Hexus finishing in third. And look at that. It was a difference of 3 points across the board in the top three. We could have had another tie. Oh.
Technically, it was 2 points because they broke the tie and get the 57 plus 1. So it was a 2-point difference between our top three. That is literally nothing. That is a one squad pickup that would separate you from walking away with some great prizes and, well, some arguably slightly less great, but also great prizes.
Well, we had 20 teams. We have plenty more registered as well, but the lobby can only hold 20.
Wow.
So folks participating in North American APAC tournaments, do not forget to show up early. Not just to register, but also queue up early as the tournament will be played tomorrow early for APAC. And again, just go to the tournament page. You still have time to register. Yeah, but you want to be there. And we had 20 teams. In the end, we had to separate them all somehow. And until the very last round, we had a top 8 that was incredibly strong, and even at the very end we had to separate it somehow. My god, Zephyr, what is that underneath us?
You can take a look at it for one last time here on the Master Cup stream. It is the final promo code of today's broadcast. Your last chance to finally enter that one in. I remind everyone it's YDLJA1ICF. And remember, you have to act fast or else you don't get to claim it there. We won't be announcing our winners of the chair today right now, as our official ending will occur later on, I believe in the next day or so. But still, this is the only place you're going to find this.
Zephyr, would you like to do the honors of doing the magical clap to make the code disappear?
Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Here we go. Ready, Prod? And...
Fantastic. Natural. An absolute natural. Indeed, giveaway ends tomorrow, and big thanks to everybody who watched, played, again to our production team, Mike, Ithila, Edge, Clay Ginger, Timothy as well. Zephyr, grand thanks to you. Where can people find you? What are you doing? What's up with you?
Hey, if you've always looking to support the old Zephyr, you can find anything I do, whether it be voice acting, Pro League, Apex Legends, or anything and more. You can check me out on @ZephyrCast on Twitter and pretty much anywhere else it happens to be the exact same username.
Folks, go do that, or else. Master Cup XP is gonna see you tomorrow for APAC and North America Apex Legends tournaments. For now, just take a deserved break. Congratulations once again to BitFix Gaming's our winners for EMA, and we'll see you when we see you. Good night.